Hello, my name is Anna Dadar, and I am the Upper School Dean of Students. I, along with Margaret Van Steenwyck, our Upper School Head, Chuck Amadon, our 12th grade Dean, and Zachariah Gaines, our 11th grade Dean, have prepared this video for you to go over the upcoming event of prom and to specifically go over some of the details and also talk about some of the safety points around that evening. So I will start with just some details of the event. It is a prom for both juniors and seniors, and it's happening on Saturday, May 12th in the evening. There are two parts to the evening. The first part is a mandatory pre-prom reception, which will happen here at Shipley's campus from 5:45 to 6:30. And this is a wonderful opportunity for students to come and their parents and friends to all gather and to put on the finishing touches. And then the prom itself will be at the Pyramid Club off of our campus from 7:30 to 10:30. And I've included the address below so that if you'd like, you can look it up, see some of the beautiful pictures of it, and I've included a few here as well. It is in Center City. And this is a location that was chosen by our senior class president, along with some seniors and also Mr. Amadon, the class dean. And you can see this is a picture of it from the outside. And then inside, it is a beautiful venue. We will be able to dance as well as have some food that the seniors have organized and really planned out the events and have done a beautiful job with that. And then here's another view of the restaurant. And some additional information around the prom. The ticket process is a little bit different this year. Prom forms are available through on campus, and so you don't have to print out a form and sign it and print and bring it in. You are able to log into your specific account, and then you and your child will be able to e-sign it and then submit it, and we'll have it. The cost is $100 per person for prom, and then if your child would like to take a trolley, then that is $50 per person on top of that. And so we hope that this will be a convenient way for you to be able to view the prom forms and also include all of the important information in the form. On the form, you'll be indicating several things, and one of them is also talking about how you would like to pay for prom. And so you have two different options. One option, which is what we've done in the past, is that you can bring a check or cash directly to Miss Gilligan and she'll be able to hold that on file. Or you can also charge the prom cost to your student account. And this is something that you can charge the entire amount to your student account, but you can only do it if your form is submitted before April 26th. And so after April 26th, if you're submitting your prom form, then you'll have to go with check or cash to Miss Gilligan. I also wanted to point out that any families with financial aid need to speak to Amy Clemens directly, and I've included her email as well as her phone number here for specific details about payment. And so she is the right person to go to for that. Some additional information about prom tickets and form. The prom form has been sent out to the 10th and 11th graders. So if your child is bringing a 9th or 10th grader as a guest, please email that information to Ms. Gilligan, and then she will send the on-campus form to that student as well as to their parents, and also a link to this video so that they have all of that information. Another point is that if you know that your student is going by limo, then please just put the last name of the person who's organizing the limo on the form, and that way we'll know who is going into what limo and the specific groupings. And so that will be helpful for us to organize that information. Another portion of the event is the pre-prom, as I said, and this is a really wonderful time for everyone to gather. It is mandatory, and so you should drop off your students at this time, and you will be able to come as well. There will be some tasty refreshments, and it's a really great opportunity for pictures. So a lot of parents and guardians take pictures of the students with their guests, and it's a nice time to mingle a little bit before the actual departure for the Pyramid Club for the prom. Another important part of the reception is really a safety point, and before any student or guest is able to leave, all of the limousines, Uber cars, and also the Shipley trolleys will be inspected for any alcohol or any illegal substances. And that's a really important point for us for safety. Also, students can absolutely bring bags, but they will not have access to those bags. So any student or guest bags will be stored in a school supervised vehicle. They will be taken to and from prom, and so they'll be supervised by the school administrator in that form. The one thing to also remember that as we keep your students safe for the evening, all Shipley policies regarding social or off-campus events and substance use absolutely remain in effect for the entire evening, from the very beginning, before prom starts, throughout the prom, and then also after the prom. And we will take disciplinary action if any prohibited substances are found either on a student or found to be used by a student, or also found in any vehicle being used by the student. And so that's an important thing to and from prom, and that is one of the reasons why we also search and do an inspection of the vehicles before they depart. Here is a timeline and some information about transportation, because a few questions have already come up. We will be departing for the Pyramid Club at around 6:45 p.m., and students can choose one of three ways to travel to prom. One way is to go by limousine, and this is something that is arranged by parents and guardians. It has to be marked on the form, and as I said, they have to put the last name of the person who's organizing it, and the limousine has to come to pre-prom so that it can be inspected, and then that is on the student after prom. They may leave by their limousine to go straight back to their home. Another option is Uber and an Uber car, and this is also something that is arranged by parents and guardians, and it follows very similar rules to the limousine. The Uber must come to the pre-prom and be inspected, and then can drive the students to prom, and then can also go from prom. Students can also combine if they'd like, so this is again arranged by parents and just needs to be very clearly indicated on the form. If a student would like to take a limousine to prom and then an Uber from prom, that's fine as long as we know about it and that the parents have signed off on it in their forms. So it'll be very important to really be clear on the form with every route of transportation and every detail. The final option is by trolley, and so these are arranged by Shipley, and each trolley costs $50 per person, and the trolley seats are limited, and so they will be given out after kind of when the students hand in the forms. So it'll be better the sooner to get the form in, the better the chance of a trolley. If we run out of seats for the trolley and students still would like to have something arranged by Shipley, then there is another option where an administrator will drive the students in a Shipley car. And so that is also something to think about. And know that if the trolley runs out, we will be able to help with transportation. And just so you know, for timing, for pickup, students will probably arrive back at Shipley at around 11 p.m. so that limousines or parents are prepared to pick them up. And then a final note on transportation, as I said, I just want to remind about this point. It's very important to please be specific and accurate with your form. This is something that you will select on the prom form on campus. Students have had access to this from last week when Ms. Gilligan did a presentation for them about the form. And so that is something where you can use that form to also purchase the prom tickets and talk about your post-prom plans. And then about prom, here are some details around that. In case you have any questions or if something comes up, Anna Dadar, and you can see my number is right there up on the screen. I'm available with any questions really from 5 to 11 or even afterwards. And then Margaret Van Steenwyk is also available, and that is her number. Please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us with any questions or concerns. We will be happy to talk to you about anything. And then one thing also as a reminder, as I've already said, it's very important for the students to really remember that all Shipley policies and rules remain in effect throughout the entire evening, and so to really make good choices and to think about that. And also they're representing Shipley, and so to really keep these guidelines in mind, that while they're there to really respect themselves and how they behave and what choices they make, respect others, and then respect the environment. We are guests in the Pyramid Club, and so it's very important for us to respect that as well. Another important point that I want to talk about is post-prom. And so here's some logistical informational details as well about post-prom, and then also some tips. So one thing that's very important for us is to know what the details will be for post-prom as well. So it's very important in the prom form as well on campus to really be specific about what will be their post-prom plans, and only students and parents and guardians who have completed that part of the form will be able to go to any other destination than their home or back to Shipley at the close of prom. So if a student is coming by trolley to the prom, that's fine. And then if that student would like to take a limousine home, that's fine as well, but we just need to know about it ahead of time, and we need to make sure that the parents sign off on it, the parents or guardians. So that will be important to indicate in the form. And then, as I said, around 11 o'clock is when they'll be coming back. Here are just some safe tips about hosting a safe event at home if you are having a post-prom party or an event, and that's something that we really wanted to go over as well. So here are just some tips that we have found have worked really well. And one is, if you're hosting an event, to really be clear about your house rules and also to communicate those clearly to everyone who is coming into your house so that it's clear what has been decided, there are no disagreements, and everyone knows coming in what is expected of them. Another important note is to keep the numbers to a manageable size. So a smaller number of guests is better. It tends to be more fun also, and it's easier to manage. So that's something to think about as well when hosting events. Also, absolutely no illegal substances can be there. Illegal substances of any kind, that's something very important. And again, Shipley policies are absolutely in effect, even at these events after prom. So that's something really important to think about. And then the final point on this slide is to stick with the original guest list. And so if somebody crashes the party or shows up and has not been invited originally, please don't let them in. It's better to keep the guest list as the original size. Some additional tips are that it's really important to not just have one adult there and to just have one chaperone, but it would be better to have more than one adult present, to have multiple eyes checking everything and really supporting you in your chaperoning duties. And then as a chaperone, it's important also to be clearly visible. So you don't have to be in the front of the room or at the center of the room at all times, but it's important to be an active presence there, to help with refilling the refreshments, to start activities, walking through every 15 minutes to make sure that people see you and that they know that you're there. Another important point is that once guests leave the party, they should not return. And that's an important point because if they leave, potentially they could engage in something that is not allowed and is not appropriate. And then if they come back, then that will be a problem. And so once they leave, they should absolutely not return. Another point also is to make it clear within your home where is the space for the party, and to really keep them within that space, and that the guests should not be moving in any other part of the house except for that particular place that the party is designated to be. And then finally, as you're doing your walkthroughs, it's important to also make sure that you keep a head count as you move through, so that you have a sense of how many students are here, who has left, and just to keep that number manageable and to be able to keep track of students. Another important thing is, if you are hosting and your child is the host, then as I said, it would be a really great idea to communicate with the parents and the guardians of the guests so that they understand what the expectations are of the party at your house, so that you can go through any questions, and so that everyone absolutely is on the same page with what is going to be happening at that event. And that's an important thing to note also if you are not the host and if your child is the guest at another house. And so I would strongly recommend that you communicate with the parents or the guardians of the host so that you understand what your child is going into, and so that you have a good sense of what are the rules, and so you can see if you're comfortable with that, and for your child also to know and to uphold those expectations. And then finally, it's also really important to make a plan for your child for the situation if he or she feels uncomfortable at an event post-prom. They may be going into the event really excited, and then all of a sudden they may feel uncomfortable about something. So make a plan with them to have them call or text you or another trusted adult if they're feeling uncomfortable, so that they don't feel any pressure to engage in something that they don't want to, and so that you have that arranged ahead of time, and so that they know that they can go forward with that option and feel that support. Here, the next section of the PowerPoint is really talking about some resources that would be helpful for you to look at if you have some questions or just to educate yourselves a little bit more about the various resources and the different things that you can do to help support your child through this. This is one thing just to keep in mind, that there is also a Pennsylvania social host liability law, and specifically talking about selling or furnishing liquor or malt or brewed beverages to minors, and that this could be considered a misdemeanor of the third degree if he or she intentionally or knowingly sells or furnishes or purchases with the intent to sell or furnish any liquor or malt or brewed beverages to a person who is less than 21 years of age. So this is an important thing to consider as well. As I said, that's why it's so important for communication, to make sure that all the parents understand what your rules are if you're hosting, or that you understand what are the rules and expectations of other parties with parents hosting. And this is a very important and serious thing to think about. Here are two additional resources. One is a website, verywell.com. It's Verywell Health, and that has great articles, and one of them is here, Why Do Teens Turn to Alcohol? And so they include additional resources and information that you could find useful as you educate yourselves about this very topic. Another one also is, this is for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And so this also is a link to the website, the CDC, that also has additional articles and informational points. And then there's even a fact sheet, which I've included here, about underage drinking. These are all live links, so feel free to click on them and they can take you and you can read up a little bit more on this specific topic. And then finally, there's also this website, which is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It also provides excellent resources for you to look at and to think about as you go through this information. And finally, I just want to end with just a few reminders. So it is very important that you watch this entire video, and then after watching the video, you need to sign a second form, which is on campus, to confirm that you did in fact watch the video and that you are agreeing to all of the rules and the policies that are outlined. Your child will not be able to go to prom if you have not watched the video and signed the form. So it's very important. We want you to have all of this information. So please do watch this video in its entirety and then sign the form, agreeing to the rules and also showing that you have watched it. And then also, plans can change as well. And so if your plans have changed, then after you have submitted the form, which may happen, please contact Ms. Gilligan to let her know about any of the new plans and to also show that you are signing off on those new plans so that we know exactly what will be happening after prom. And if you have any questions about anything I've shared in this video or anything else that may come up, please feel free to call me or email me. My email is adedar, ADEJDAR, @shipleyschool.org. My phone number is 610-525-4300, extension 4297, and I'd be happy to go over any additional questions that you have. So thank you very much for watching this video. I look forward to the prom. It should be an absolutely beautiful event, and I look forward to seeing you all there, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any additional questions. Thank you so much. Have a great day.